All right, guys, we're back. So here comes the part 2 of the Halloween spook podcast we decided to do. This time we're going to kick into some of our creepier encounters, some of the paranormal stuff, and this is always a topic I seriously can talk about for hours and hours and hours. And I'll be bringing you guys some single ones from myself, but we're definitely going to be diving in more into the podcast as much as we can, just because it's so much fun to talk with your friends and hear their experience and also their opinions when it comes to your encounters. So, YogiBoi, I know you couldn't wait to tell us some of these stories. Let's go ahead and start off with you. Can you give us a couple?
Yeah, so there was one time when I used to go ghost hunting back when I was younger with a group of people. We were driving in Placitas one night. It was about 2:30 in the morning. We had stopped at a campsite where you can use the bathroom and shower up and stuff like that. I had to really use the bathroom. That's why we had stopped. And then off in the distance, you can see like what looked like a campfire, right? But it wasn't like your normal campfire. It was green flames. It wasn't like the orange reddish color. It was green flames. There was people dancing around in circles, and then they were chanting something that like you wouldn't like expect. It was like Latin or something, I think, something like that. But it was creepy. It was almost like it seemed like it was like a seance or something that they were doing.
Yeah, that sounds really crazy. Dragon, I know you know a little bit about this stuff. Is it possible that whatever he was witnessing, were they using some kind of a special kind of sage that turns the flames green, or some kind of special kind of like powder? Because I know that I've seen that in movies, but you've ever heard of it?
Possible.
I think in movies, I think what they do at least nowadays is they would just color it digitally.
But I'm talking about hypothetically back in the day.
But there is ways to make green fire. There's special effect powders and stuff you can use. As for the seance, it sounds like they were having a seance of some kind. If they were chanting Latin, maybe Druidic. It's possible.
That sounds pretty wild. Did you confront these guys or no?
No, hell no. We got the hell out of there.
Yeah, he's like, hell's in the know.
He's like, no, I left.
I remember you telling me this story because, in fact, it was one of the reasons why we went all the way out into the Placitas. It was me, you, Isaiah, and Chris at the time. Remember we drove all the way out to Placitas because you guys said it was pretty creepy at night out there?
Yeah.
And it was so funny because we got out there. I'm like, this ain't so bad. And Chris stops the car in the middle of nowhere. He's all, get the fuck out and walk 10 feet. I was like, okay. I literally walked 10 feet, dude. You couldn't see me anymore.
Nope.
Like, I was pitch black. I was like, all right, this is pretty bad. Like, if some fucking wolf came out and got my ass, I'm done. So,
right, get back to the car.
You know, I've heard a lot of tales come out of Placitas, so that doesn't surprise me with what you told me right there.
Yeah, not me either.
Was there another one you wanted to share, Yogi?
Yeah,
it's copper sulfate that turns fire green.
Thank you. I knew it was something. I just could not remember. So, yeah, you were probably witnessing some kind of a seance or some kind of a ritual going on.
I think it's like boric acid also turns it green.
That's crazy. Well, now we know how to make green flames.
Really easy to get your hands on too. Boric acid is just available.
Yeah, see, so that's most likely what he was.
That's what they use to kill ants, yeah.
Yeah, it's commonly used to pest.
But wouldn't that be
poison.
dangerous to be burning and then trying to breathe that stuff in?
Oh, yeah, that's why you don't breathe it in.
That's probably they're probably using copper.
Probably.
That is something that turns.
Plus,
fire
I mean,
green.
they are outside, so there's plenty of ventilation.
That's still
if
wild.
You're in a...
I mean, it's still wild to witness something like that. I mean, how often are you going to see a bunch of people dancing around a freaking green flame, chanting some mumbo jumbo in the middle of the night?
It happens a lot more than you might think.
Yeah, it actually does.
I know, but I'm saying,
been there.
Like, if you're not used to that, that's different. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, they usually, the people who do that, they do it in secret, you know?
Yeah.
You weren't meant to see it, probably.
Yeah, they're out there for a reason.
What was the other one you wanted to share?
it was kind of like two in the same experience. We were at the Manal Cemetery, same group of people, like I said. We were at the Manal Cemetery. Believe it was the Manal Cemetery. There's a part of the cemetery where there's like a walkway, but there's a bunch of trees that like kind of go over each other, and it makes like an arch. We were all walking down there talking, and all of a sudden, one of the people I was with just stops, dead in their tracks, and then they almost like they turn white, like they saw something. They point, and then all of a sudden, we see this like woman standing there. She was dressed in all white. You can obviously see through her, but her hair was kind of like hanging in her face. She raised her arms up like she was like being crucified, and then all of a sudden she like screams, disappears, and it was the weirdest thing. So as soon as that happened, I took off. I still get made fun of it till this day. I get called the cowardly lion from Wizard of Oz because of it. So I took off. I left everybody behind. Me being a big person, I can run pretty quick. I jump over the wall where we got in from. My feet didn't even touch. You know how like usually you would like put your hands on the wall and then put your like jump off with your foot.
Yeah.
No, I used all my upper body strength. My feet didn't even touch nothing. I jumped over. This car saw me. He pulled over. He's like, "Hey, you all right?" I was like, "No, I'm good." He was like, "You need to ride somewhere? You look like you saw something." I was like, "No, I got my buddies back there. They're catching up." It was the weirdest thing. And then the second part to that, there's a park across the street. A park across the street from the cemetery. Me and my friend, we needed the bathroom, so we publicly urinated in the park. Like I said, it was the middle of the night. As we're walking through the park back to the car, we saw this animal type thing. It was weird. It was low enough to the ground to be like a dog. It had like front arms. From what I remember, what it looked like, it had front arms, but it had like a snake-like tail, and it like crawled, but it slithered at the same time. It had these bright yellow glowing eyes. So we like ran to the car and started chasing us. So as soon as we got into the car and locked the doors, it was gone.
Hold up. How big was this thing?
Man.
It stood probably as tall as it stood probably as tall as a dog.
Huh. So about like
It almost
3
sounds like
feet.
a chupacabra.
I don't know, man. It didn't have it slit like it had only front like it had arms, but it had no legs. It like slithered. It had like a tail.
Oh, fuck. That's really
That's weird.
I'm gonna have to do some study on that. See if I can.
Like,
find, where did this take place at?
The park across the street on it's Manal Cemetery.
Manal Cemetery.
Yeah, there's a park across the street, and it's like we thought like so we kind of like we think we saw a hellhound. We think that's what it was, and then so with that being said, you are, how do I put it? The way the tale goes, if you see 3 hellhounds in your lifetime, the 3rd time you see it, you die.
Yeah, I've heard about that myth, or the legend, I should say. And you guys think that does kind of sound like a hellhound, so that's pretty fucking crazy. Did you ever see any more since then, or just that one time?
Just the one time.
That's
Lucky.
wild. Unless it's somehow some weird like spirit guarding the cemetery.
Maybe.
But that's
we've had rocks thrown at us to get out of the cemetery from. I don't know if there was no people in the cemetery. Like we can legit hear the rocks hitting the trees.
That's wild.
That is
is freaky, dude. Especially to be doing that at the cemetery and seeing that, and also having that happen. That's wild.
Right. Last time I went to a cemetery, it was just dead people and quiet.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So,
It was always kind of disappointing for me.
yeah, man. I don't even know what to think about that, to be honest. That's pretty wild. That's got me kind of stumped.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever told me that one story. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I hope everyone enjoys hearing that story. I mean, when they sleep at night.
Right? Sweet dreams.
And when you talked about that lady in the white, where was this at? Was it in the same area you said?
In the cemetery, in the actual cemetery.
Man, it sounds very reminiscent of the Llorona.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
'Cause, I mean, I've heard. I mean, I know her tale comes from Mexico, but supposedly there's one in New Mexico too. And in the ditches where my grandfather lived in the South Valley, we actually would hear her scream at night. It was fucking scary, dude, and creepy. Because he'd always tell us a story, and then I swear it was like on cue, you'd hear her screaming in the ditch. It was wild.
You're also supposed to hear her wailing, aren't you?
Yeah, like a humming, but we didn't hear the humming. We just hear her screaming. It was wild.
Like I remember going on the ghost tours of Old Town, and they were like, and they told us the story about that.
Yeah.
About the New Mexico Llorona.
I
think it was the Rio Grande she threw her kids into.
Yeah,
I seen her on a ditch bank when I lived in Las Lunas.
Yeah,
Damn.
see, it's crazy, dude, and that's the only two places I've ever heard of her being at is in New Mexico and Mexico. So,
Right.
It's the Mexico part that keeps her around.
Right. Well, at one time, New Mexico was part of Mexico.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so was Arizona, California, and Texas.
So Hydra, what is some stories you'd like to share with us?
So I'm trying to think of some good ones. There is one that comes to mind, which I could tell you that definitely I don't really have an explanation for it. So my brother had left town for like the weekend, and I had brought a girl over to his house, and I was trying to impress her. Okay, so we're outside. We're just kind of enjoying, like, looking up at the stars. You could see everything in the sky that night. You know, there wasn't a cloud or anything in the sky. So we're out there, we're drinking, and they're like, "Oh, you know, let's go. We're gonna go sit on the trampoline." So we're out there. We have like a blanket. We're cuddling up, watching the trampoline. We're talking and everything. And, you know, we're looking up at the sky, looking at the stars, because you could see the stars. Like, I couldn't believe I could see the stars so well in the city. And we see something flying over above. And, you know, we're like, what is that? And we see, you know, there's no lights on it, and it's huge. And the shape of it, you know, it's very strange. It didn't look like a plane. A plane, you know, I've seen planes at night. They have lights and stuff on them. This had no lights on them, and it was kind of just flying through the sky. It was up kind of high, and you know, so we stay out there. We see it fly by kind of again. And it was, you know, it got big. It looked bigger this time. It was huge. So, you know, we decided, you know, we've had enough drinking and we're gonna go inside. And so we wake up the next morning and we come outside, and the trampoline had been shredded.
Interesting.
Shredded.
Oh.
Yeah, it looked like somebody landed in it is what it happened, but that's what it looked like what happened, but it was like torn up. And you know, my brother, when he gets back, he's like, "Oh, David, you did this. Were you trying to jump off the house onto the trampoline or something?" And yeah, I just don't have an explanation for it. It's so weird.
Going into the detail, what did it look like? Can you describe it as best as you can?
The first time I saw it, it kind of looked like triangular. But then the second time we saw it, me and the girl I was with both said that it looked like a bat.
Kind of like a giant bat?
Yeah. We both,
Weird.
we both thought it was really weird because, like I said, it had no lights on it, and everybody's always like, "Oh, maybe it was a plane." I'm like, "No, I don't know. I had a feeling it wasn't a plane." And we had saw it kind of fly past us about 2 or 3 times. That's not something the plane would do.
Right. And I mean, me and Dan know pretty well that trampolines can usually handle a fall from the roof.
Yeah, especially when you have 2 big old 300 pounders jumping off of it onto.
Right.
So
it still survives. So yeah, for it to be shredded.
Yeah, it was destroyed. Yeah, we didn't. I didn't.
There was no dogs around or nothing.
Actually, he didn't have dogs at that time. No.
Maybe a cat.
No.
No, a cat can't. I'm sorry, but a cat can't tear up a trampoline
Actually,
like that.
he might have had cats, but the cats don't go.
They wouldn't.
They're not gonna mess with the trampoline. A dog will, but I don't know about a
But
cat.
I always felt like maybe it had something to do with what we saw in the sky that night, because, like I said, we saw it kind of not circle us, but it flew past us multiple times. Almost like it was watching us.
And it could have been. I mean, well,
That's
the weird thing
strange.
is, let's play it off that it was some kind of a creature. The wild part is the reason why it probably attacked the trampoline is because since you guys left inside, maybe you left some residual heat on it, and it mistaken it for, body heat and attacked that spot you guys were at.
Maybe it saw us the first 3 times we saw it flying overhead, and then the 4th time, maybe that's when it tried to hit the trampoline.
That's possible.
Maybe.
Like I said, it could have been picking up on your guys' heat. If it's a real creature.
We
who
thought it was a.
Depends
We
what
thought
it is.
We kind of thought it was a bat or like a giant bird.
I mean, there are tales of a thunderbird, but I don't know about that being in New Mexico. The only reason why I bring that up is just as a quick kind of small story was me and my brothers, and this doesn't have to do with my storytelling, but just as a relation, when the power had went out about 6 years ago, I think it was 6 or 7 years ago, I don't remember exactly, but it was when my brother Zeke was still living with us, and the power went out, and me and my brother Emilio and him went outside to go stay, because we always post up on the porch. And so we were out there, we were talking, I was laying on the concrete, and they were just standing up talking. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, dude, I kid you not, we heard a loud screeching sound coming from the sky. It almost sounded like a damn pterodactyl. Like just screeching from the sky. And
was that big power outage we had that year?
Yeah.
That really long one? Because I
Yeah.
lived just down the street from you at the time. So.
Yeah, and I kid you not, dude, like we heard something in the sky that night. And
I think I heard that too.
Everyone looked at each other and were like, what the fuck? And then Mino made a joke. He's like, well, Zeke, you better get your ass inside. They're going to come, that damn thing's going to come snatch you. And he's all, dude, what the fuck? Like, he looked at me and he, like, as if I had answers. I'm like, dude, I've never heard that before. That is wild. It sounded like a pterodactyl.
Yeah, I think I heard that too. It was loud.
So imagine if that has something to relate with Hydra's story. That would be crazy. But I mean, I doubt it. But it's just like it wouldn't be surprising because there are weird shit in the sky. So
right. I mean, who knows what's out there really?
In my opinion, it could have been some kind of a bat. It could have been some kind of a giant bird or something like that. And like I said, it probably attacked the trampoline because it probably felt like it was residual heat.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me.
It's possible. But who knows what that is. That is pretty crazy, though. I mean, I'm liking these tales. I've never heard of them before, so.
Yeah, I tried to tell a couple people about that one, but, it is it's a weird story. And I mean, it actually happened, so, I don't know.
No, I got you.
But, I actually I wrote a story, and it's actually based off a story that was told to me about something that really happened here in Albuquerque when somebody bought a house. So let me read it to you guys.
Sure.
Okay. This story is about a family that finds the perfect little house. They move in and start making themselves at home. The first night, the daughter wakes up to a noise in her room, and she runs into her parents' room to sleep with her parents and their dog. The next morning, the daughter returns to her room to find that all the heads torn off her dolls right away. Right away, they blame the son. He swears he didn't do it. A week or so later, the kids are left alone at home alone. the sister wants to play hide and seek. The brother starts counting and looks to see his sister is gone. He's looking through the rooms, through the bathrooms, the only 2 rooms left, the garage and the attic. He opens the garage, nothing in there, but still it gives him the creeps. He hears the dog barking upstairs and he goes to investigate. It's barking at the stairs to the attic. The boy pulls down the ladder, peeks his head up. It's pitch black. He steps up to pull the cord on the lights, but it doesn't turn on. The floorboards creak and something moves in the darkness. He hurries down the ladder and closes it up. That evening, the parents get home to find the kids watching TV and in their rooms, and the dog is outside barking. They move to the kitchen to find all the drawers have been open. They ask the kids, and they tell them they weren't in the kitchen today. The mom starts looking and realizes one of the knives is missing. She doesn't think anything of it. That night, the family wakes up to the dog barking in the hall. Dad grabs his flashlight and his gun. Suddenly, the dog goes silent. The family gathers together in the hall. They hear a window break. The ladder from the attic is to the ground. The dad goes up to screws in a light bulb. The attic lights up to paintings of each of the family members covered in blood. The dog laid lifeless by the moonlight of the broken window. Ha!
And that happened here in New Mexico?
I just moved.
What's
That happened here in New Mexico?
Yeah.
Oh. And no trace of the daughter?
I changed it a little. So the story was the story was about somebody who had moved into a house, and they thought that the house was like haunted, and they kept hearing these voices and boards creak. And one day they go up into the attic and they find a bunch of these weird old paintings of like old timely people, and they had like painting on them. Like people had tried to like, somebody had basically scribbled and painting all over these paintings, and it really freaked the family out, and they ended up moving out of that house because they thought it was haunted.
Yeah,
They thought that somebody was living up in their attic.
I mean,
So that's what inspired me to write that story.
I've seen a lot of videos where that does happen. There are transients that somehow sneak into someone's house and live in the attic, so I wouldn't blame them at that point. But that does sound pretty cool. I mean, I'm pretty sure someone probably defiled those paintings because they probably freaked them out, and instead of just being respectful and moving them out or giving them to someone, they just painted over them.
It was like in the Geico commercial where they like turn on the lights and there's all those like dolls and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. He's all, nope.
Nope. Out. I'm out.
Those are some pretty wild tales. I'll have to give you that one, Hydra. That one was pretty wild.
I like that.
Pat,
No, which one?
Definitely. I mean, your first one, but the second one's pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Did you like the story? I wrote that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Cool.
It kept me interested the whole time. I was like,
I wrote it for the podcast. So.
Well, hope y'all enjoy. That's some OG writing right there.
That was good.
Patman, do you have any stories you want to share?
Yeah, I guess a couple.
Let's hear 'em.
Oh, back in high school, I had a Ouija board for a couple of years.
You did not fuck with the Ouija board.
Yes, you did.
We did
we
not
did.
just fuck with the Ouija board.
We played with the Ouija board all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, I know how to do protection.
Carry on.
It was one of those old school looking ones, you know, and I labeled it too.
Those are
That
the
was
best
pretty
ones.
cool. A couple of times, me and my friend Jeremy, we would go to the park like late at night across from his house, and we'd mess around with the Ouija board. And I don't know if it was him messing with it or both of us doing it, or just maybe some ghost. But we got some pretty weird things out of it. Like, you ask it, when am I gonna die, or when is this person gonna die? And it goes to the letters, the numbers.
Do you
It was just so
remember
much
when
fun.
it said when you were gonna die?
No, I don't.
Man, it tried to warn you and you didn't take it.
Yeah,
He's like, that's pretty
I should
high.
have taken notes and written it down.
Right?
Yeah, we went to a cemetery once too.
Man, you guys are fucking dumb. I'm sorry, but what were you thinking?
We were dumb kids.
Oh my gosh, dude. I'm a wild kid and I will never fuck with the Ouija board. Never.
Some of them chose their ass too, or they used to.
That's
Good
crazy. Dude.
times.
That's crazy. Was there another one you wanted to share?
Yeah. I was 10 years old. This was back in '96. It was right after my grandmother had died. I think I was alone in the house. Maybe it was just my grandfather there with me. I was in the bathroom. I was going about my business, and the bathroom had a window to it to the backyard. And I hear this voice. It called out my name. It was a woman's voice, and it was just my name. It was just once. I never heard it again. And I just sat there for a while, like, and I finish up in the bathroom, go out in the backyard, and see if somebody was playing a prank. One of my friends, maybe. Nobody was there.
Right. That might have been a grievance hallucination.
Probably.
That's still,
Honestly, sometimes.
I mean,
sometimes
but hearing
reality
voices
is scarier than fiction.
Yeah, but still hearing voices without no one there or rhyme or cause is still fucking freakier than anything.
Oh yeah,
Right.
like this is why I'm glad I'm not schizophrenic, because like I've seen like videos of what being schizophrenic's like, and it's like characters on TV start talking directly to you. It's like, what?
That's pretty crazy.
And they start telling you like everyone around you is evil or wanting to get you, or something, or you're not good enough. You suck. Everybody hates you.
Imagine having schizophrenia though. Imagine what you have to go through having that.
Oh, it's horrible. There's a YouTube video that simulates it for you. It's creepy, dude. You wear headphones with it, and
I'm good. I'm
boy.
good. I'm so good. I get enough voices for myself. I don't need any more.
Right? Yeah.
Dragon, what is yours that you wanted to share?
Okay, so I got two. One's shorter, one's a little bit longer.
Okay.
So the first one is just a short experience my mom had. She related to me when we lived at our old house. Pat, as noted, used to play with Ouija boards with his friend Jeremy at night. So he'd come home pretty late, and Mom got kind of mad about that. So she was up late one night doing dishes, I think she said, and she heard him like walk past him in the hall, or past her in the hall, like towards his room. And she was like, "Oh, I got you this time." But then she walks in his room, he's already asleep. And he was always in there. And it's just a weird thing. We always had weird things in that old house. There was a creepy painting we found of just this old woman that just was staring at like the portraiture. And it's like, wow, what the hell? And it was just in a closet.
It was a really old one in the shop.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. And I swear I think that house had a large amount of like crystals under it. Because that's the only way I can think of some kind of like energy being stored there like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one was me and Weasel were up at his mom's house. And we had been drinking and smoking, and I think maybe we had a few mushrooms. I can't remember. This was a long time ago.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But But we decided to go walk into the woods.
Oh, you
'Cause,
guys
you
are
know,
fucking dumb. I'm
You
gonna tell
remember, you remember how she lived
Ah,
right
man.
there at the woods?
Just dumb just runs in your family, doesn't it?
Mhm.
So
I
doing
brought out
dumb
Ouija
shit
board.
does.
Well, me and Matt went out and we did some shrooms in the woods.
I mean, we just wandered off into the woods and we were like, I wonder what's out here. And we just heard nothing but weird shit and saw weird shit, and then we ended up.
But at that point, is that really
PlayStation.
would you assume that's really a haunted experience, or would you blame that on the shrooms though?
I mean, honestly, probably mostly on the shrooms, and maybe a little bit on the alcohol.
You know, I'm surprised you
'cause
didn't
we just
mention
really caused that.
but you didn't mention that the devil under your bed.
I'm still not convinced that one was real. That one might have been a dream.
Still,
That was
wild
such a
tale,
weird
though.
experience. Yeah. All right, I guess I could tell that one.
Yeah,
real
just
quick.
touch base real quick.
Okay, so basically that experience was when I was much younger, and this was in the same house my mom had her experience in. My room was like, it seemed like the most active. Like things would happen in there. It was weird. Sometimes I would wake up and my TV would be on, and maybe I fell asleep with it on. I did that a lot as a kid. I liked having the TV running when I fell asleep. That white noise or just listening to something. Usually Cartoon Network was on, watching Johnny Bravo or something. But I went to my bathroom, and I used the bathroom, and I opened the door, and there's like a red light coming from under my bed, and I'm like, huh? And then there's like smoke or fog or something, and I went to look under there, and there's just this devil-looking dude looking at me, and tries to reach for me, and I'm just like, fuck that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just backed up real fast, and I think I went back into the bathroom and slammed the door, and then when I reopened it, it was all gone.
Yeah, but did you go back to sleep in that room?
He's all
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I woke up in bed.
Yeah.
That's why I keep thinking maybe it was a dream.
It's plausible at that point.
It
I mean-
felt real enough, like I really had to go pee or something, but
But see, that's how I know my experiences were real, because I never went back to sleep, and I'll get to those here in a second. But I always
Right.
thought that was one of the most interesting experiences you told me was the devil under your bed.
yeah.
So,
It just took me a long time to realize that might have been a dream. But it's still a freaky experience.
oh, regardless.
Yeah,
So-
even if it was a dream. Like when I was a kid, I used to get night terrors like really bad. Like I wouldn't stop screaming for hours.
Yeah.
Nothing could stop me. Now we know that those are indications you're gonna have sleep apnea when you're older. And I do. Okay. And yeah, those are mine.
Okay. That, I mean, like I said, it's still wild. Like, I mean, that's not something you get to see or hear or experience every day. So, like, that's something that stuck to me whenever you told me a story. So, that's pretty crazy. So,
Right. It's probably the craziest
So-
story I have.
mine, man, I've had so many in my dad's house. It's a handful, literally a handful of experiences.
It's true.
Um,
That
so,
house is weird.
You know, I always like to tell this story because it's always my first experience and what got me into believing into the paranormal. It was when I was 9.5 years old, and you know, being a 9.5 years old, you know, I was going through a lot of stuff. We had just lost my mom. We were still trying to figure our way from this hole we were in as a family, because I mean, we were just going through so much trauma at the time that we didn't know what was up and we didn't know which way was down. Well, it happened it was the bedroom when you walk into my dad's house and you take a right, and there's 3 bedrooms down the hallway. It's the first bedroom to the right. That was my main bedroom I always stayed in. At this time, I finally got my own room. Well, when I was in this room, we had this small closet, and in the closet we had 2 shelves, one laid on the left side, one in the middle. And I woke up at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and because you know, I always have a habit of looking at the time. I always look at the time. Always the first thing I do when I wake up, I always look at the time, and I noticed it was 3 a.m. on the dot. I didn't know what that meant back then day. Obviously 3 a.m. is the reverse, you know, holy hour, where it's 3 in the afternoon, and then 3 a.m. is they call it the demon hour. Well, I woke up during that time, and I knew something was kind of a little heavy in the room, and I was like, what the hell? So like, I look to my left, and in my closet, I see this floating ghostly head just sitting there on my shelf. And it was like weird because it was like the sockets were completely blacked out, but it was the shape of a head.
Right.
I'm staring at this thing that's staring back at me, and then all of a sudden, this gigantic hand comes out of the ground and hits the, and I'm telling you, like, our roof is like 8 feet tall, and its fingertips pretty much are touching the rooftop. And as I'm laying there staring at it, it freaks the shit out of me, and it swings back and then leans forward as if it's gonna come grab me, and I hide under the covers. And it's been about like 5 minutes, because when I looked up, of course I look at the clock again, and it's 3:05 at this point. And at that time, everything was gone. The ghost's head was gone. God, I'm getting chills just telling the story. The ghost head was gone. The hand was gone. I got up, I flipped the light on, I grabbed my baseball bat, and I stood in the corner of my room on the bed, waiting for it to be 6 in the morning when the daylight came. And I never went back to sleep. I never went back to sleep. And I remember telling I think I told my grandma and I told my dad it, and of course they weren't going to have it. They weren't going to hear it, say that it was just me dreaming. I'm like, I didn't dream because I didn't go back to bed. That was my first experience, and brought me as an eye-opener into the paranormal. In fact, that following day is when I started studying and learning about ghosts and stuff like that, because I was like, this is not normal, this is crazy. Like, that was my first experience, was seeing this giant fucking hand jump out of the freaking ground and try to grab me.
Right.
And the thing is, I don't even know if that's my first experience or not, because this isn't my second story, but this was a side thing. As I remember when me and Zeke were staying in that same exact room, I remember us looking outside the window and just being downright terrified, where we were screaming and running to my sister. Like I said, it's such a fog in my memory. I don't know what we saw out that window, but we were so freaked out. We ran into my sister's room right across the room from us and slept in there with her because we were so freaked out. And Zeke won't talk about it. He claims he doesn't remember it, but I don't know. There was something that we saw that night, and we have no idea what it was. To this day, never knew what it was.
That is, yeah, that's, I have a few things like that where I'm like, I have no idea how to explain what I saw. Like, I'm sure there's kind of an explanation for all of it.
Yeah, there's always got to be an explanation. And then going into my second story, this happened to me about a few years later when I was in high school. And I was sleeping in my bed. Obviously, I woke up again, and this time it's freaking 3 a.m. on the dot again, dude. I'm telling you, 3 a.m. on the dot, and I'm looking at but this time I can't move. Okay, I'm laying in my bed, I'm looking at my clock, and I can't fucking move. All of a sudden, I get this crazy sensation throughout my body. It's almost like as if your leg falls asleep, and you get those crazy thousand like needle prickling.
1,000 needles in your, yeah. Oh,
imagine that, but your whole entire body, from head to toe, whole entire body. And as I'm laying there, I'm hearing chanting in that room. It sounds like old Latin, but I couldn't understand what they were saying, but it was chanting. And as it got louder and louder, God, I'm getting the chills, and louder, all of a sudden I get this vision, okay? And in this vision, I see it's black and white, and I'm staring at this river, and all of a sudden there's this old lady, and she screams a blood-curdling scream, jumps in the river and drowns herself. And then after that happens, the vision ends, and as the vision ended, the chanting started slowly going away, and as it went away, my body was finally starting to move. So like I could finally get the feeling back, and I was slowly moving my toes, slowly losing my fingers. This whole process took about 5 minutes before I got full control of my body, and that chanting was completely gone, because again, it ended at 3:05. Didn't go back to sleep again because I was too scared to. I was scared that if I went back to sleep, I wasn't going to wake back up, or I was going to wake up in that state again.
And maybe your family is trying to put a curse on you. I'm just kidding.
Well, you know, it could have been sleep paralysis. It would be very possible, because I do hallucinate while under sleep paralysis, but the vision, that was just so fucking creepy.
Right.
Such a creepy vision to see.
I do too. I have that sometimes, especially if I don't turn my fan on while I'm asleep.
Yeah, that's why I can't sleep in dead silence anymore, dude. I have to have a fan on.
I
have to have a fan
on. Not only for the air, but I also need the sound. It just drives me nuts not to have it.
Yeah, like I can't stand the ringing in my ear, dude. It was a wild experience, and like I said, there's still plenty more to talk about. I mean, that house, it was just was like a beacon of paranormal. And you know, something my dad told me as we grew up in this house, that he's seen a lot of stuff and he's heard a lot of stuff, but he's like, I don't talk about it because the more I talk about it, the more it's gonna happen. I mean, we're talking about stuff that's been happening since I was 2 years old at that house.
Right. It's like,
because like he told
it's
me
already
one time-
happening.
well, he told me that there was a shadow man that our dog used to actually chase at the backyard, because we had a German Shepherd named Bullet back in the day. He was one of the biggest German Shepherds, and they would say that he would actually chase this thing around and see it running around. And my dad used to see it all the time, and my aunts and my uncles used to watch him do it. So like that house was just, like I said, a crazy beacon, and I brought you guys in there.
Yeah.
And you guys have heard and experienced crazy shit there, and it's almost on a dime.
You go in there and you turn all the lights off and you just sit in the quiet, and you'll hear shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll feel shit. You'll hear shit. That house is weird, and I don't know if that's expectation doing it or what, but something's going on.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It is a weird house.
Yeah,
It is. It really is.
and it's just a house built on pain, and like I said, we've lost my mom in there, we've lost my uncle in there, and who knows what else has happened in that house, because my dad bought it and then he built on it. It's a house of grief, it seems like, because I mean
Right.
there could have been so much shit that happened that we don't even know about, you know. And
Oh yeah.
it's like, it's just wild. Like I said, I mean, I have so many stories to tell about. I mean, I can give another one real quick where, you know, in the same bedroom again, this time it was about a year after that event, and I'm laying in bed, I wake up, and this time I couldn't see what time it was, because there were 6 figures in my room. 3 of them dressed in red hoods, 3 of them dressed in black hoods. And I'm staring at these beings, and they're staring back at me. And then after about what seemed like, you know, minutes, I don't know, like I said, I couldn't see the clock. One of them gets close to me and unveils his hood, and I swear this thing looked like a Harry Potter Dementor. That's the best way I could put it. Like it had like a skull looking like gray face. It had,
Oh, okay. So it had like that flat face and
it had a flat face, no mouth, no eyes, and this is way before that movie came out. So like
Right.
obviously it wasn't inspiration for my mind, but this thing goes up to me, and all it does, it puts a finger over its mouth as if say shush. And
No
then
need
all of a
to
sudden,
speak, yeah.
boom, done. They were gone.
Huh.
The weird part is I wasn't even scared. Like I was just more curious. Like at
Right?
that
Like,
point.
who are you?
Yeah, like what's
Like,
going on?
this isn't
But they-
even
the thing
scary.
is,
This
yeah,
is
they
just
didn't make me feel threatened
weird.
though. That's the tricky
Right.
part. I did not feel threatened by these things. I just was more curious, and it was just a strange experience.
Right. That is strange. Something that actually kind of relates to mine, possibly, is that apparently somebody might have been killed in my room at my old house. Apparently
What
over a
makes you say that?
salad. Because I think there was a newspaper article we had found, and it definitely looked like part of my wall had been painted over in a very specific pattern. And then there was like, I think one of the neighbors had told us that like somebody had been shot in there or something. So that's possibly, and apparently it was over a salad.
That's,
Dumbest thing to get shot over.
I mean, it
ever.
wouldn't be surprising. I saw someone get shot on the internet over snow, so like
I know,
it
right?
wouldn't surprise me if that's the case.
People are dumb.
For real. Guys, I mean, I know we've been telling some creepy stuff tonight. Is there anything else you guys want to share?
I'm gonna have trouble sleeping.
Obviously.
Nah.
Um, Oh, I could tell the story about. You know what story I'm going to tell.
Which one?
So there's this one time where we were having a sleepover at my house, and I had about 2 or 3 of my friends over. And so it's me, my friends, and my mom. and my dad works the night shifts. And me and my dad set it up to where he was going to scare us. My friends didn't know about this. So, you know, we're just hanging out, doing stuff, and my dad's going around and he's tapping on the windows. He's knocking on the windows. You know, so all my friends start getting scared, and you know, they're like, "What's going on?" Like, they're like, "No, that's your dad. That's your dad, huh?" And I was like, "No, my dad's at work." And so finally, you know, we're all just hanging out, watching a movie in our front room, and all you hear is my dad starting a chainsaw. And oh my god, all those poor kids, all like, man, they all booked it. They were so scared. They
were like, "Bell!"
Yeah, I remember you telling me that one of our best friends freaking ran into your mom's arms pretty much while she was sleeping and freaked her out.
He was trying to like wake my mom up. It's like, oh my god, that's so like.
And the funniest thing is, I remember you telling me you guys were just getting off of a Chainsaw Massacre marathon.
Yeah, I think that's why we did it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking hilarious.
Honestly, that's fucking perfect.
I swear, I cannot wait to be a dad and terrorize my kids like that. That's gonna be so much fun.
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate saying that, but I mean that's the whole point, is to build those memories.
How else
and have some
learn?
fun. Yeah.
How else they gonna learn not to be afraid?
It's just having fun, safe fun. Because he didn't even disclosure. I know because he told me this. His dad didn't even come in the freaking room with the chainsaw. He was literally in the garage. The garage is literally right next to the living room. So it's no wonder like they can hear it so close. You know what I mean? So I can imagine.
Right. It works.
You know, and that's the funniest part. Those scare stories are always so amazing to do.
Oh, I know, right?
I love scaring the shit out of people.
They get scared at the beginning, but then they always remember them fondly.
I know.
That's it's a memory. It's a fond memory.
Yeah. That's awesome though. I guess I'll tell one more, and then I guess we can call it quits for the night. Just because it reminds me of that same friend me and Hydra talk about. Because I mean he's our third amigo. I haven't talked to him in years though, and that's just a personal thing that's going on between me and him. But you know, still have nothing but love for that guy. Well, anyways, he was actually at my house, and he was never a believer in the paranormal either. He was strictly a God-driven man, and he never believed in anything else. Well, one day we're sitting at we had a fireplace in our kitchen, and we're sitting there just chilling, and we're talking to my baby sister Susie, and as we're sitting there talking, all of a sudden we hear a little girl go, "Ricky." And we look up, and the crazy part is I look to my right and I look at him, and he's going like this, like he's looking back and forth, like, what the hell? And he looked at me, he's all, "Tell me you heard that too." I was like, "Your name?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yep, I heard." He's like, "What the fuck, dude?" I'm like, I know, I told you that shit is real, dude. And I kid you not, ever since then he became a massive believer, and he did not like being in my house by himself. He did not like being there.
Okay, so you want to hear Ricky's story that's funny?
What's that?
Okay, so the one time he stayed over in my house, he got freaked out. I went downstairs to go to the bathroom late at night. I came out. He's sitting in the kitchen. He's like, "I woke up and you weren't there."
Oh, I remember that.
Like, because he was so scared because he could feel something weird about the house, and because my grandpa died in it, and he's like, "I could feel something."
Yeah.
I'm like, dude.
Like he said, there was like, if for some reason in your room, it was like a sense of heaviness. And that's how my dad's room is in the upstairs. I swear, you walk in and you just feel like the gravity is so thick in there. The air is so hard to breathe in there. It's such a weird feeling when you walk up there.
Yeah,
that's
that room.
I don't get how
been a little weird.
I don't know how you sleep in here. I could not.
I couldn't either. I don't get it.
That house is just meant to be creepy, dude. Like, it's just like my fucking living room. I cannot sleep in that living room because there's like 7 windows in there. You feel like you're being watched in there. I hate being in the living room, dude. It's such a weird feeling, like when you're growing up in there. Right. Again, my house is one of those houses. It's just pitch black at night, dude. Like we used to, like I know me and Hydra were talking about playing hide and seek outside, but I kid you not, my house was a hide and seek paradise because again, you couldn't see in front of your hand.
Creepy.
black
I
creepiness.
remember one time where my hiding spot was, as I was just like sitting in a sink. That's how dark it was. Like,
Right? You
like,
can't see anything.
it
You
was
can't
so
see like
dark.
3 feet in front
You
of your
could
face.
literally
yeah.
press up against the wall, bro, and you're completely
you'd be like,
good. You're good.
Is this a
Oh
wall?
yeah.
We had a friend who even like all he did was sit in by the wall. He curled up like a ball and he pulled his hoodie over him, dude. You couldn't see him.
Yeah.
You thought
just
when you
looked like
were
a pile
touching
of
him,
clothes.
he looked like
Yeah.
a bag of toys, dude. Like it was wild in that house. It's
that
crazy.
house. That house got so damn dark.
Yeah.
Like there was no light that penetrated it.
Exactly. So, you know, and I can't wait to tell more stories on here about the house because I still have plenty of them to tell, but I want to save those for another day. So, gentlemen, any last things you guys want to talk about? Any last words you have for the people?
I think I'm good. If we ever get the chance to film there,
Yeah, if
we probably should.
that'd be cool. But I don't
Yeah.
know because I'm not on the
If we
best
ever
terms
get
with my
that
parents.
chance,
But you know,
I know. But if we ever get that chance,
yeah, trust me, we will. Hydra, anything else you want to say?
Nothing off the top of my head.
Okay. What about you, Patman?
I just wish I had more paranormal experiences.
He's
there.
like, you guys make me sound like a lightweight. Come on.
no, I wish I had more too.
Pat, I'll take you to
I'm
my dad's
going
house someday,
to-
and you'll have plenty of experiences.
If you guys
That's
don't
true.
mind, I'm going to actually write some try to write some scary stories based on some of the things you said.
No, please do.
Go for it.
Please
Go
do.
for it.
Cool.
I'll even get together with you, and I'll tell you how to write them, like my whole experience, and everything. And like I said, I plan on doing each individual story on my YouTube, anyways, as like a full episode. So, you know, I'll tell you when those are up, and you can totally use them as that. So,
For sure.
Sounds good.
all right, gang. Well, hope you all enjoyed the podcast. I know it was a long one. I broke it up into 2 parts for you guys. This is just a taste of what we're bringing for Oktoberfest. We still got some gameplays coming. We still got more podcasts and reactions to come. We're definitely having a lot of fun doing this stuff. Like I said, spook season is our favorite time of the year. Like I said, look how long these things went. You can't get us to shut up when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I'm definitely excited. Can't wait to share more experiences and more so hear how you guys are reacting to the experiences that we had. If you guys had any similar experiences or something to relate to that, please let us know. I mean, I love hearing this stuff, and even more so, leave them in the comments if you guys have any experiences you guys want to share, and we can go from there. So, again, guys, I'm so grateful that we finally got a full crew in here and we're able to talk about this stuff. This is something I've been waiting to do for a long time. Again, shout out to all my boys, Dragon, Hydra, Patman, and YogiBoi. Again, guys, check them all out on their individual channels. We're gonna have them post up in the mancave link. Again, it's Mancave Gaming and Entertainment. You guys will see it obviously come up. And if you're on my channel, I'll have it linked up into my description. And the same thing with Mancave, you'll see each and individual YouTube channel on there. So if you guys don't mind, please give us a like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate the growth of the channel. My personal goal is at least to reach 100 followers and 100 subscribers on my channel. As far as the Mancave, we're just trying to get as much attention as we can and bring you guys as much entertainment as we possibly can provide. So, guys, again, thank you so much for an awesome podcast. For the peeps out there, can't wait to see you on the next one. Till then, you guys have a safe spook season. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Take care.
Be spooky.